Welcome to the Cause Effect with your host, Carl Kozlowski, and his team of correspondents bringing you the world's bad news badly. And now, Carl Kozlowski. All right, greetings, Earthlings. Welcome to another edition of Cause Effect, where we mock out the week's news every Saturday from the beautiful studios, my studio apartment, Radio Titans in Los Angeles. But hey, I'm Carl Kozlowski, and I am generally a libertarian of the Rand Paul persuasion. And our panel is here, as always, fantastic fellows, them all. From the left, the black voice of reason, Tymon Shipp.
What's up, my people? Yes, there will be no brothers at the Oscars. Everybody's there, but the revolution will go on. Do not worry. We will eventually get their white ass one time.
Chris Rock's still in charge, right?
Well, he's hosting.
All right.
Okay.
All right. And then from the right, for the second week in a row, we have the new, or among the new, among our right-wing attack dogs, we have Thierrion Kagan. How you doing?
The only thing wider than the Oscars is a Democrat presidential field.
Wow.
Well,
it's true.
What do you think of that?
There you go. And then from the left as well, we have, but still funny, Dr. David Robinson bringing us the week's best news jokes with the week we were.
thank you, Carl. And again, really exclusive, but do appreciate you pointing that out. Looking at international news, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that South Africa is moving closer to allowing trade involving domestic rhino horn. In exchange for domestic rhino horn, South Africa will get 2 defenders and a midfielder to be named at a later date. That's a footy joke. Germany is now confiscating valuables from refugees, but German authorities say the refugees can reclaim their property from a secret train buried in a Polish tunnel in about 70 years or so. You know, when the Germans start confiscating property from a portion of the population, history has shown that doesn't tend to turn out so well. Just saying. Closer to home, upon hearing that a huge blizzard was approaching New Jersey, Governor Chris Christie left the campaign trail and is now patiently waiting at a New Jersey Dairy Queen. Republican senators say they may revolt if Ted Cruz gets the presidential nomination. This comes as a big surprise to everybody who already thought the Republican senators were revolting. Earlier this week, Sarah Palin said her son Track suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, but added that the rest of the kids seem to have responded to her parenting just fine. You know, now this was her defense when Track was arrested for beating up his girlfriend, being drunk with an AR-15, and threatening suicide. You know, another day in the life for the Palin family. But in the police report, I don't know if any of you guys read this, but Track Palin was described as uncooperative, belligerent, and evasive, which is how the police knew that he was a Palin. A rally was held in Mississippi earlier this week to keep the Confederate stars and bars on the state flag. Supporters say the Confederate symbol is the prettiest way for Mississippi to say ranked last in education. And tip of the hat to my friend Dave for pointing out that it should indeed be prettiest instead of prettiest. Thanks, Dave. 4 Ben Carson campaign workers were involved in a serious car accident that killed one of them. Sadly, the car accident serious thing they'd been involved in since signing on with Carson's campaign.
Oh, my God.
Blizzard watches have been issued up and down the East Coast. Meanwhile, here in California, most people are just using their cell phones to tell time. Never got a blizzard watch. Just got the old Timex here. Earlier this week, as the massive blizzard threatened Washington, D.C., Republicans were complaining that despite the threat, President Obama still hadn't called for boots on the ground. Gloves on the hands, scarves, none of them. Failure as a president. Michigan is considering a plan to have classic rock radio afternoon drive time DJs solve the water crisis in Flint due to their collective experience with getting the lead out. All up in your business news, after a listeria outbreak caused by Dole packaged salads killed 1 person and hospitalized 11 more, Chipotle apologized, saying, yeah, we know we didn't have anything to do with this one, but force a habit, you know? After announcing massive layoffs in their struggling device division, Johnson & Johnson reps apologized for the cuts, saying the company had just overestimated the S&M community's need for struggling devices. Univision this week bought a stake in the satirical website The Onion. Fox News had also considered buying a stake but declined after it was pointed out that Fox News is already a joke. Nerf is denying reports that it unveiled its whole fall lineup ahead of February's 2016 New York Toy Fair, saying it wasn't an unveiling, really more of a soft launch.
Yeah.
Nerf, come on. By the way, just since I'm still grumbling about not winning the Powerball last week, that just means I am not one step closer to attaining my Nerf house, which would be an awesome place to live. And if I ever do win the lottery, I will prove that. Tinder, the dating app, has just added a new STD testing locator, which is fantastic news for couples who have no idea where they should go for their first date. No, I don't know if this is just an LA thing or if this is national, but you guys have seen the free STD check billboards that basically equivocate Tinder with gonorrhea and Grindr.
Yeah.
I
Bold. don't know.
It's, Rena Hubbard on the Grown Ass Men yesterday said, and she goes, "They should just call it grinderia." There's so much fucking going on that they just have a disgusting new disease.
It's, and I haven't been to a mall in a long time, but I was thinking about this as I was reading that story. I worked in a mall when I was in high school, and I know a lot of malls around the country had like the tobacconist called the Tinder box. Which
I see where you go.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave that there. Probably for the best. Turning to science, a 5-way planetary alignment will be visible in the night sky for the next several weeks. Astronomers say the timing of a 5-way starting on the last day of the AVN Adult Expo is purely coincidental. I don't know if you guys, the AVN Adult Expo wrapped up in Vegas this week, and this 5-way started on the last day of AVN, so kind of nice. New research indicates that the largest earthworms in the UK can be found on a Scottish island, while the largest cockroaches in the U.S. can currently be found campaigning for the Republican nomination in Iowa. They are big. An ancient mass grave in Kenya suggests that either hunter-gatherers weren't as peaceful as previously believed, or it may indicate that the Republicans finally have a time machine. There's certain guy with Kenyan roots that they've been complaining about for 7 years. Yeah, that's the one. A new study says that school children drop weight when water is offered at lunchtime. Finally, a study that proves that kids can't hold weights, lunch, and water at the same time. People want more arms in the schools. Start by getting these kids more hands. That's what I'm saying. Scientists have found a tree frog that was thought to be extinct for 150 years. The frog is described as being speckled brown and green.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, me neither. The frog is described as being speckled brown and green, small, and extremely good at hide and seek. Because it hasn't been seen in 150 years. New research indicates that the Venus flytrap is creepier than previously believed, but still not nearly as creepy as sales manager Herb Tarlick. WKRP joke for the old people in the audience, myself being one of them. Doctors say that the number of babies being born with organs outside their bodies is up by 1/3, but despite being born with them, researchers say the babies still don't learn to play the organs until much later in life.
They'll shoot you for that.
Yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't. Looking at entertainment, HBO has shut down production of their Westworld reboot for 2 months, saying the human-like robots wanted time off to campaign for Donald Trump.
They also, from what I hear, they have such graphic sex in there. I thought you were going to go with the Tinder STD check.
Next week in the Tinder box.
Oh, God.
Yasutaro Koide, the Guinness Book's oldest living man, has died at 112 years old. Police are currently seeking the second oldest man for questioning. I think I found the problem with the mic here. All right. Glenn Fry, who played the role of Jimmy Cole on Miami Vice, passed away this week. Very sad news. Apparently, he was also a musician. Hey, he was in some band with Joe Walsh.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, pretty cool. Also on the music front, Don McLean, American folk singer, was arrested for domestic assault this week, and he may also be charged with driving his Chevy to the levee after drinking whiskey and rye. And finally, we offer congratulations to Mariah Carey, who got engaged to her billionaire. Got it. All right, here we go. Congratulations to Mariah Carey, who got engaged to her billionaire Australian boyfriend this week.
Damn, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Sorry.
me neither. Carey says they do have their differences, but the time she spent learning his language has only... All right. Let's try this one more time. Mariah Carey says that she and her Australian boyfriend do have their differences, but she says the time she spent learning his language has only brought them closer together. Could have been a lot funnier if it worked the first time. I'm out of here. I'm Dr. David Robinson, and that was The Week We Were, where we don't make the news, we just make it memorable.
All right.
Hey, Carl, we forgot Stacey Dash's comment.
What?
Oh, I figured we were going to get to that when we talked about the Oscars.
I didn't
Okay.
forget anything.
I didn't know you did.
The Clueless actress, or is it the Clueless actress? Either way, she is African American and says that we should abolish Black History Month.
Okay. Well, we'll add it during.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, just putting it in there. So.
Okay. All right. So then we're going to thanks, David, and now we're going to attempt to get this to play quickly. The weekly burst of Durst
From five-time Emmy-nominated comedian Will Durst.
That's right.
Hey, all right. Hi, Will.
All right. Come
Will?
on.
Hi.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Hello.
I'm doing what I can.
I know. I'm trying to get the conversation going.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Will.
Oh, there we go. Hang on.
Hi, Will.
Ah.
Hello, Will.
Hey guys.
Hey. You sound like you're right
Hey
here.
guys,
There you
Will
go.
Durst here to say you had to love Ted Cruz telling Donald Trump that the rest of the country was concerned about his alarming New York values, totally ignoring the greater danger of the real estate developer's aerodynamic quaff toppling over and knocking innocent supporters unconscious with its hard candy shell. But is it fair to make sweeping generalizations solely based on longitude and latitude? Well, yeah, it is. And besides New York, what other cliches can our little minds instantly make when presented with specific locales? Glad you asked. New Hampshire values believe in not just the electric chair, but the electric bleachers. New England Patriots values mean doing anything and everything to win, including the blurring of boundaries that lesser competitors might consider the rules. New Yorkie values involve a lot of yipping and the sound of toenails scratching on the linoleum. New Jersey values are almost exactly like New Yorkie values, but with bigger hair. New Balance values take into account sneakers and sneaker accessories. Washington, D.C. values are a mix of New Yorkie values and New England Patriots values. Texas values mostly have to do with barbecue, guns, and executing people, not necessarily in that order. Wisconsin values are totally measured in how the Green Bay Packers are doing, and cheese. Arkansas values are more family-oriented and totally understand that fathers can be uncles at the same time. San Francisco values are indicative of a tolerance for almost anything, except the intolerant. That we cannot abide. Berkeley values are not as restrictive as San Francisco values. Madison values are similar to Berkeley values, but mitigated by snow and cheese and the Packers. And Maine values are none of your business. For the cause effect, I'm Will Durst.
All right. Well, that was Will Durst. That was hilarious. So thanks, Will. And so this week we're going to, as always, jump in on our actual debate.
Before we do, I'm kind of surprised, being a native of the greatest city in the world. I'm kind of surprised that Will didn't address Chicago values, which my guess would be involving